The wreckage of the enemy fleet still burned in Titan's orbit. From the observation deck of the UNS Nemesis, Admiral Cade stared at the drifting hulks, their glowing embers casting eerie light on the methane moon below. Humanity had survived, but the war wasn't over. "They're running," Hale said, watching sensor data scroll across the holomap. "Then we chase," Cade replied. Before they regroup, across Titan, the fissures pulsed like a heartbeat, brighter with every passing hour. The warden's voice echoed across every comm channel. "Their fleet retreats to call more. Hunt them. End them before they return." The decision was made. For the first time since landing on Titan, the fleet was ordered to break orbit. Every ship that could still fight was loaded with supplies and ammunition. Titan's spires glowed as they recharged the fleet's power cores with raw energy, a gift from the moon itself. Keller's squad boarded their dropship, their armor still scarred from the ground invasion. "Feels strange leaving Titan behind," Rivas muttered, glancing at the glowing fissures below. "We're not leaving," Keller replied. "We're taking the fight to them." As the fleet pulled away from Titan's orbit, the methane moon glowed one last time, its fissures flaring bright as if in farewell. Then Saturn's rings fell behind them, and deep space swallowed the stars. "All ships," Cade's voice came over the fleet channel, steady and cold. "Course is set. Pursuit begins now." The enemy's trail led outward, past the orbit of Rhea, past the edge of Saturn's magnetosphere, and into the dark beyond. For days the fleet followed, their sensors locked on faint energy signatures left by the fleeing ships. Finally, they saw them. Enemy vessels huddled in the shadow of a shattered moon, repairing their hulls, unaware they were being watched. "We hit them now," Hale said, her voice sharp. "No," Cade replied, narrowing his eyes. "We hit them when it hurts most." The transmission ends with the human fleet drifting in the silent void, weapons charging as the first strike orders are uploaded. Humanity had taken the war beyond Titan, and there would be no turning back. If you had been on that fleet, would you have fired first or waited to learn where the enemy was calling for reinforcements from? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe. The next declassified file will reveal the ambush, and the first human victory in deep space. The void around the shattered moon was silent, cold and deadly. The enemy fleet drifted, unaware of the trap closing around them. Human destroyers held position behind ice fragments and debris fields, reactors on minimum power, railguns already loaded. Admiral Cade's voice crackled across the fleet channel, calm and sharp as a blade. "All ships, synchronize fire on my mark. We don't just kill them, we erase them." Keller's squad strapped into their dropship, watching the holomap as red icons blinked closer. They were ready to board any surviving vessels, if any were left when the barrage was over. "Feels like overkill," Rivas muttered. "Good," Keller said, flatly. "After Titan, they deserve worse." Cade raised his hand. "Mark." The void erupted. Every ship in the fleet fired in perfect unison. Railgun slugs screamed through the dark, slamming into enemy hulls. Missile salvos followed, turning repair yards into clouds of burning debris. Titan's energy pulse, transmitted across space, amplified the first strike. Enemy shields collapsed instantly under the combined onslaught. The enemy scrambled to respond, but it was too late. "Target their comm relays," Hale barked. "Don't let them call for help." Precision strikes ripped through the massive communication hub, its antenna array disintegrating in a flash of white light. For the first time since the war began, the enemy was cut off, but the fight wasn't over. Enemy escorts charged forward, their plasma cannons spitting green fire. One human frigate took a direct hit and broke apart, its crew ejecting in escape pods as the wreck spun away. "Hold the line," Cade growled. "We finish this here." Fighter squadrons swarmed the enemy flanks, tearing through their remaining defenses. Titan's creatures, transmitted through the fleet's neural links, guided the firing solutions with uncanny precision, turning the void into a killing field. When the last enemy cruiser detonated, The void fell silent once more. Only drifting wreckage and the faint glint of human running lights remained. Area secure, Tactical reported. Not secure enough, Cade said, coldly. We sweep every rock, every signal. Nothing leaves this system alive. The transmission ends with the human fleet illuminated by the burning wrecks of the enemy, a graveyard of twisted metal slowly spinning in the void. Humanity had struck its first blow beyond Titan, and proved it could win. If you had been on that fleet, would you have pursued the survivors into deeper space, or returned to Titan before reinforcements could arrive? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe. The next declassified file will reveal the chase, and the first human incursion into enemy territory. The battlefield was a graveyard of twisted metal. Human salvage crews worked in silence, pulling survivors from shattered pods and scanning for any remaining enemy signals. Most of what was left was just wreckage, but a few enemy ships had fled, and Cade wasn't about to let them escape. Trace their trajectory, he ordered coldly. We have a vector, Tactical replied. They're heading for deep space. System edge. The pursuit began. The fleet accelerated into the black, engines burning hot as they closed the gap. For days, the chase continued. Across the far reaches of Saturn's influence, past the frozen orbits of small moons, and into the void beyond. Keller's squad trained in the dropship between jumps, prepping for boarding operations. Feels like we're hunting ghosts, Rivas said quietly. Then let's make sure we catch them before they vanish, Keller replied. At last, the fleeing ships appeared uncensored, limping, damaged, their escorts barely functional. All ships, Cade's voice came over comms, calm and lethal. No survivors. The final engagement was brutal and swift. Human cruisers bracketed the survivors, railguns tearing through their shields. Titan's neural pulse locked their engines, leaving them helpless as missile salvos gutted their hulls. The last ship detonated in a silent flash, scattering glowing shards across the stars. Then, from the debris, a single data core was recovered, encrypted, but intact. Dr. Elara cracked the first layer hours later. This isn't just a flight log, she said, astonished. It's a nav route. These weren't retreating, they were running home. The fleet gathered in the command deck as the holo map lit up, showing a vector stretching far beyond Saturn, beyond Jupiter, into the dark between the stars. This is where they came from, Hale whispered. Then that's where we go next, Cade said grimly. We take the war to them. The transmission ends with the human fleet turning away from the Sol system, their drives flaring as they vanish into the black. For the first time in history, humanity leaving home not to explore, but to conquer. Humanity had chased its enemy across the system, and now knew where to strike next. If you had been on that fleet, would you have followed them into deep space, or turned back to prepare for the inevitable counterattack? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe. The next declassified file will reveal the first human incursion into enemy territory, and what waited for them beyond the edge of the system.